Welcome to the Healthbeat Show. I'm Dr. Jeffrey Watson, and welcome back to the Healthbeat Show. We've got a great one for you today. We have some real interesting things to talk to you about. Some about psychology, some about fitness, diet, exercise, education, mindfulness. And joining me is none other than the author of the book, The 25th Hour, Developing Efficiencies to Manifest Your Life Goals. None other than psychologist and fitness expert Gerald Williams.
How you doing?
How are you?
Good, good. Thank you for having me.
Well, welcome to the Healthbeat Show. It's really an honor to have you here. I've looked some at your book, actually showed it to my son, and you have a very vast background. I mean, one that it might even be called a little bit unusual.
I've heard that before. It's a very unconventional background. I'm a Bay Area native, so I grew up here in Berkeley, went to school. I did my undergrad back east or in the South at Morehouse, and I came back here to go to graduate school. For the last 7 years, I've been doing education research with the African American Male Achievement in Oakland Unified and applied research there. And for 4 years, I've been a psych professor with Peralta Colleges. So I teach research methods in human development and intro to psych and things like that.
Okay, now tell me a little bit about the psychological work that you do, research and development, and your background in that. Because, I mean, it really starts with the mind. It really starts with you being positive. If you're not positive, you're going to be negative. You get stuck. You get stuck on stupid. Some people say you may get paralyzed behind things that you analyze. You can't move forward because you're thinking too hard about it. Tell us a little bit about what it is that you teach and some of the research methods and some of the other programs.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely want to avoid analysis paralysis. That's always the case.
Yeah.
And I find, so a little bit about, my academic side. So I teach research methods for behavioral science, which is really very empirical, it's rigorous, it's got a level of statistics and things like that on how to ultimately communicate with the two mediums of the academy, which would be conference presentations and academic papers for publication. And
you teach those to other psychologists?
I teach it to students. Yeah, I teach it to students. So that's the research methods course, at least in that setting. And it's really designed to make sure that our students that are here in our Peralta College system are really getting the skills that they need to thrive at the next level at the UCs or CSUs or private colleges. And we know a lot of those students are coming from our community schools here in Oakland and Berkeley and Alameda County and things like that. So we really want to make sure that they're adequately prepared for the next level so that they're successful. So that's the academic side. We start thinking about really the community engagement side and what that means for community research or action research. It's taking the approach of deconstructing the academy. The idea of theoretical agnosticism, right? You want these concepts of not bringing in the empirical structure of the academy that's very top down, and you're turning it on its ear and you're saying, I want to collect information. I want to be able to look at data and all these other things in a very ecological way that makes sense. And it's not only about making it make sense, it's about making it actionable so that those that are serving our students and families in schools can really interpret it and help improve the programs that are being developed, and also making the results consumable for the general public. We want to assume that not everyone is interested in reading statistical significance and F values and things like that, and that's real. And it's been a really, really great opportunity for me to expand how I think about things by throwing all that stuff I learned away and just trying to meet people what they are with real information.
And so you've taken two really very diverse things: scientific analysis using statistics, using numbers, using what is going on in an environment. And then you've also done some real cultural stuff in the community. Now, and that's a question that I have. Do you think that research has cultural bias? I mean, when I was trained to become a doctor and I had to take these exam tests, I mean, one question was asked to me that if a doctor made a mistake, you would A, call him and tell him he made a mistake, B, you might write him a letter, or C, you would call the medical board and have them come after him. Well, the answer was, the answer for the medical people who wrote that was C, you would call the medical board and have them come after it. Me, knowing how hard it is for a minority to become a physician, I would either, as long as it wasn't a terrible mistake, I would either call him or notify him first before I had someone. And so there was some cultural bias in this examination. And that examination results in me becoming certified as a board certified internal medicine physician. How do you deal as a psychologist who's putting together data and statistics? You're also out there in the community. You see that they think that Obama wasn't smart because he was African American, but he was probably one of the smartest people that we've ever met. How do you deal with those cultural biases when you're training people to do research and analyze?
So I look at this in a couple different frames, right? So we'll take a look at the academic side, and then we'll take a look at the really K-12 setting side. So on the academic side, the concept is this, is we want to think about research in terms of an ecology, right? It's not just about the quantitative, it's also about the qualitative, the experiential. Behavioral science has traditionally lived and breathed by quantitative data, statistics and things like that. And those are very valid because they have an empirical standard that we need to make sure that's working. We also know that a lot of those things are culturally biased, right? And we have the understanding of these instruments that are given to minority students. The internal consistency of these instruments are really threatened because our worldview is very different.
Absolutely.
Right? And because so that segues me really into how does this apply in the real world. So in the K-12 setting, we're talking about developing curriculum, we're talking about evaluating curriculum, we're talking about doing things that have a cultural lens to them, right? So the things that we're implementing and developing inside of the K-12 setting, particularly in Oakland and now in Seattle and Antioch and some other school districts, are really set up for us. And these models that are typically incongruent for us are now highly congruent, right? And the information that we're collecting, we're not just looking at the empirical, was it statistically significant? Nobody really cares about that. We're talking about experience. What did you feel? Maybe the big data points didn't move. Maybe they went backwards. Maybe you had a 3.5 GPA and now you have a 3.0, but you were working through some concepts, with character development and social identity and racial identity that really challenged your views of the establishment, where those big data points may have moved in a different direction, but your experience and your understanding of self is improved. And then we start shifting the mindset of what do we really feel is important? Is it your GPA or is it the person we're developing?
Well, and that's a key thing, because as I teach, I have a lot of students, nurse practitioner, physician assistant students, so on. We have to look at the subjective grading and the objective grading. The way that they ask me to grade them as a clinical professor is, what do I think about them? How do they handle themselves professionally? How do they address a disease state? You have others that, for instance, maybe it's a mathematical analysis that strictly deals with 2 + 2 = 4, but in the real world, we've got people who aren't always objective about things. Okay, well listen, we're going to come right back. I want to talk to you some. You're kind of big, dude.
Get that a lot with the kids.
part of what Mr. Gerald Williams, who teaches psychology and research, he is a world fitness trainer. And we're going to come back and talk a little bit about that, because I'm trying to get in a little bit of shape.
It's that time of year, man.
Get myself together. All right, I'm Dr. Jeffrey Watson. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
The Healthbeat Show, sponsored by Watson Wellness Water. Your health is your wealth.
I guess sometimes things just happen. Devastating things. Your whole world changes in an instant. That's what happened to me the day my mother had a stroke.
I'm Paul George, and I want you to spot a stroke fast.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911.
Protect the ones you love.
Spot a stroke fast.
If you have a business, product, or service and would like to advertise on Healthbeat, contact us. We feature affordable advertising for small, growing, and established businesses. Reach an accessible audience to over 4 million viewers. Promote the health and wealth of your business and give us a shot.
For advertising and sponsorship opportunities, log on to healthbeattv.info.
I'm Dr. Jeffrey Watson. For more information, go to our website, healthbeattv.info. You'll hear more about the information that we're giving you on the Healthbeat Show.
Hart, what's going on?
I'm leaving.
Why? What did I do?
Not enough. You constantly ignore me. You barely eat anything healthy. You're half as active as you used to be. The pressure is just too much. I quit.
Okay, I get it. I'll do better. Just
Please, don't leave. Okay. But remember, if I go, you go.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
Okay, I'm Dr. Jeffrey Watson. We're right back here on the Healthbeat Show. We're with author of the book, The 25th Hour, Developing Efficiencies to Manifest Your Life Goals, Mr. Gerald Williams. He is an educator, he's an entrepreneur, and also a professional athlete, okay? So you think you can't just be smart and healthy and strong? Well, you can. Here's two people. Examples. Smart and healthy, okay? But you clearly, I mean, look at this. The foreword by 4 times Mr. Olympia winner Jay Cutler. There's a picture of him here buffed with the shirt off. You can keep shirt off right now.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
And with a suit on. Tell us a little bit about your athletic training, and how did that somehow intersect with your academic?
Yeah, so I've always enjoyed working out. I played sports. I grew up playing sports, and when I found out that there were gyms outside of team sports, I stopped playing sports. But with that, I always get asked like, oh, are you a trainer? All these other things, and I don't really train people. I mean, I'm definitely about disseminating information in a way that really is able to get to folks and getting the message out there about a healthy living, healthy mindset, strong body. But I always tell particularly the youth that I say, like, you see me and I live in this body, but it's really a representation of how I think and my level of discipline. And so I always also get asked, what's the secret, right? What's the secret to being able to be in shape?
That is the key, discipline.
And I say it's discipline and consistency. I say if you can do the same thing, you eat the same foods, and you can follow the same structure for 6 months without a break, you will see results.
How do you do that? I get tired. Sometimes I'm just like, oh, I can't work out today, I want a burger,
And so some of that becomes goal setting, right? And that's what the book talks about, is really having a vision for yourself, whatever that is. You may not want to be in shape, and that's okay, right? That's fine.
I do want to be in shape.
And if you do want to be in shape, that's cool too. But it does not everybody may want that.
Everybody wants
but it's
that.
about having a vision, right? And so if your vision is like, I want to be at this level of fitness, then you say, how long is it going to take me to get to this level of fitness? Well, I know it's going to take me 4 months. And so I know what are the tenets, what are the attributes that allow me to get to this level? Well, I have to eat my 6 meals. I have to eat clean 5 to 6 days a week. I have to go to the gym 5 to 6 days a week. So you start understanding that there's certain inputs that allow you to be successful, and you work one day at a time at achieving those inputs.
There are some people, when we talk about fitness and exercise, so you've mentioned some things that were real important: eating and consistency, staying motivated. Hydration is a key thing. We got to drink the water, and you got to let your body rest too at some point in time. Now, one of the things that I came up playing sports also, a lot of times people will go and they want to just run on the treadmill, or they'll want to just do push-ups, or they'll want to do walking. But then there is a belief that to cut down and to really have your body burn calories, if you're interested in losing weight and cutting, the muscle confusion concept. Do you have any thoughts about that?
I've never met a confused muscle. I just the neurology patterns tend to, unless they're shaking, which means they're not getting the signals at the right time, I've never met a confused muscle. I will say it's just like math. There's an order of operations, right? And there's specific inputs. When you're exercising, you want to do your anaerobic, which are your weights first, because you want to use the glycogen that's in your muscles to be able to train, You want to be able to break down that skeletal muscular tissue. You want to
So weights first.
Weights first. Then you add your aerobic activity, right? Because you've depleted those glycogen reserves inside. And we say aerobic activity, what are we using? We're using oxygen to, move cells, right? We're changing the composition based upon the usage or not usage of oxygen.
Now, does this differ if you want a particular body style? So let's say I want a really thin, lean body style versus I want a more muscular body style. Is the weights first versus aerobic second different in that? Does that paradigm change?
I've never met anyone that said they've gotten too muscular too fast. It just doesn't seem to be one of those human problems. And so really, when I talk about
and
this,
there's genetics too.
And right, and there's the somatypes and things like that. And so like if you have a somatype that's gonna, it's got a structure that's not particularly lean, then it's going to be more challenging for you to burn that fat, and you may have to do a little bit more cardio, or you may have to dial back some of the macronutrients. So we talk about the carbs, the fats, the proteins, and the structure of your meals. But overall, a really good basic formula for anybody that's really going to get active is if you do your weights first for about 30 minutes, 4 to 5 times a week. You do your cardio 25 to 30 minutes, 4 to 5 times a week after. Or if you're want another formula, you do your cardio first thing in the morning, fasted before you've put anything in, and then you have your first meal, and then you work out later. You stick to 5 to 6 small meals a day, putting your carbohydrates around your training. So if you work out in the afternoon after work, then you put your last couple meals at work, and your meal after the workout is carbs. The rest of them you have fats and protein. We have to realize we have to give our body enough protein because we need enough amino acids to repair the damaged tissue. That's how
for the muscle tissue.
For the skeletal muscular tissue to grow. That's how we get big. That's how we also get in shape. Is we got to get those things together.
And we got to hydrate.
Yeah, and we have to hydrate that we're getting enough of those free radicals and other things out of our system
before,
that
during,
we're healthy and
afterwards,
all day.
You got to get the lactic acid out.
And a good rule of thumb with that is 1 ounce per pound of body weight.
1 ounce of water.
1 ounce of water per pound of body weight every day.
All right. All right. Well, there you have it with Mr. Gerald Williams. He's talking to you a little bit about the whole exercise philosophy and about how to eat right. We've talked some about psychology and some of the concerns, cultural concerns that might be involved. And I want to have you back. I want to talk to you more. I want my son to read this book because there are some real things that are very positive that I've seen in the book. In order to own your life, you must own your time. But to own your time, you must first do what others think is impossible, and that's create it. Okay? It's so nice to have you here.
Thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
It's a real great honor. And let's get back and talk some more soon.
Definitely. Thank you.
Okay. God bless. I'm Dr. Jeffrey Watson. Remember always that your health is your wealth, and when you have your health, you have everything.
The Healthbeat Show, sponsored by Watson Wellness Water. Your health is your wealth.
If you have a business product or service and would like to advertise on Healthbeat, contact us. We feature affordable advertising for small, growing, and established businesses. Reach an accessible audience to over 4 million viewers. Promote the health and wealth of your business and give us a shot.
For advertising and sponsorship opportunities, log on to healthbeattv.info.
I'm Dr. Jeffrey Watson. You're watching The Healthbeat Show. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after these very important messages.
When caring for a diabetic foot wound, every minute wasted could mean losing a part of your foot. To make matters worse, 50% of patients with a diabetic foot ulcer pass away within 5 years. To save a limb requires a team leading the way in medical research and advancement. For the past 14 years, that team at Center for Clinical Research has helped over 2,000 patients keep their limbs. Call or visit us online to learn about no-cost clinical trials, because time is tissue.
Well, Thomas, you've got prediabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have prediabetes. Big time.
Hello and good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me here on 5 Minutes of Flavor. My name's Jenny. I'm one of the new practitioners down here at the James A. Watson Wellness Center, and I'm known as the Water Lady, and that's because I love making healthy waters. I did it. It's helped me lose weight, detoxify my body, increase my health and happiness, and I want to share all that with you all too. So I want to share a couple of the ingredients that I use. My first one I throw in is a little basil. I got a little cilantro throw in that has lots of detoxifying properties. Some mint. Our staple, I love using blueberries. Some apples, oranges, and limes. All right, great. One great staple that's great for everyone, ginger. Love ginger. And then for a little added sweetness, natural sweetness, we can always add little fruit drops. So making these infused waters at home has changed my life. It helped me lose from 185 pounds down to about 134 pounds. Also adding on a little exercise and doing some dietary changes. But for the most part, drinking healthy infused waters just changes your life. You feel better, your body's detoxifying, and you're just helping your overall health. Once you're all done, your water will end up looking like this. All right, and it's very good, very, very hydrating. I love it, I love it, I love it. So together with our Watson Wellness Water and our infused ingredients, let's have more happy, healthy hydration. And thank you so much for joining me on 5 Minutes of Flavor. I look forward to doing this again, and let me know you all are welcome to join me at home when I make these. Thank you.
The Healthbeat Show, sponsored by Watson Wellness Water. Your health is your wealth.
So they say it's a man's world? I don't see anybody's name on it.
While they were doing their thing, we slowly changed all that.
Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
I'm Dr. Jeffrey Watson. You're watching The Healthbeat Show. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after these very important messages.
When caring for a diabetic foot wound, every minute wasted could mean losing a part of your foot. To make matters worse, 50% of patients with a diabetic foot ulcer pass away within 5 years. To save a limb requires a team leading the way in medical research and advancement. For the past 14 years, that team at Center for Clinical Research has helped over 2,000 patients keep their limbs. Call or visit us online to learn about no-cost clinical trials, because time is tissue.
I'm Dr. Jeffrey Watson, and you should know your numbers. A lot of people don't know what high blood pressure usually is. Any number above 140 on the top number and above 90 on the bottom number is considered phase 1 of hypertension. If your blood pressure is above 160 on the top number and 100 on the bottom number, that's phase 2 of hypertension. Now, African Americans make up about 12% of the U.S. population, but they make up greater than 30% of all people with high blood pressure. High blood pressure is associated with heart attacks, it's associated with strokes, and it is taking us out at a disproportionate amount. Make sure that you keep a low sodium diet. In other words, don't sprinkle any salt on your food, and look on the boxes, look on the cans, take in less than 2 grams of salt a day. Keep your weight down and try to keep that stress down. Go for walks, go for jogging, and try to meditate and think about those things that are bringing you stress and try to take those away. High blood pressure is thought to be a silent killer, but if you have pounding in your head, if you're feeling dizzy, if you feel tense, if you are fatigued or you have palpitations in your chest, these may be signs and symptoms of high blood pressure. Talk to your doctor about it. I always say that if you knew better, you could do better. I'm Dr. Jeffrey Watson, and remember always that your health is your wealth, and when you have your health, you have everything. I'll see you next time.
Stop! When you lick spoons and pacifiers, you share bacteria that causes tooth decay in your child's mouth. Go, go, go! These bacteria feed off sugar and leave behind acids that cause cavities, holes, and then pain. This assault is 100% preventable. Brush and floss twice a day to keep the cavities away. Moms, it's up to you. Healthy habits for a healthy smile.
I'm Dr. Jeffrey Watson. Thanks for being with us on this episode of the Healthbeat Show, where we try to educate you about different aspects of healthcare, about eating right, exercising right, what you can do to help yourself, how to access the healthcare system, what kind of questions to ask, what you should do for any particular disease state. Because I always believe that your health is your wealth, and when you have your health, you have everything. I'm Dr. Jeffrey Watson. We'll see you next time.
You're gonna be how you wanna be. Show me how you will be. How you wanna be. Show me how you will be. Listen to the show. The more you'll know about your health, so body and mind. Your life will show you